If I could give you 3 thumbs up, I would.
Welcome back to Stauffer Garage, guys. Today's detail is of a 2000 Chevrolet Monte Carlo SS that is in need of a huge interior deep clean. I've never had a car that was heavily smoked into this amount. There's literally ashes covering everything. There's ashes like literally caked into like crevices and corners, and there's just a ton of dirt in this car. It is in need of some serious help. Not only do we have our work cut out with the amount of dirt involved, but we also have to worry about deodorizing, which I've already told the owner that the headliner will do our best with kind of helping deodorize some of it. And I will definitely shampoo the carpets, wipe down the seats, use the ozone generator to try to get rid of as most of the smell as I can. If you guys like these sort of videos, give it a big thumbs up. Make sure you're subscribed and notifications turned on. And then in the comments below, I want to see the hashtag #Smoking'sBad. Okay, let's do it.
All right, so the first thing we're going to do on today's detail is we're going to detail the trunk and the door jambs within the trunk area. I'm taking my all-purpose cleaner and spraying down those surfaces, using my brush to agitate that dirt to get it moving, and then using the hose to rinse it off and get that dirt off the car. Now, when it comes to overspray from the water or from the all-purpose cleaner itself, it really doesn't matter, because at the end of the day, we're going to be vacuuming and carpet cleaning inside the trunk, so it's okay if there's a little bit of water that gets in there. Just make sure it's not excessive if you guys do the same thing. Now, one of the most commonly missed places when you're vacuuming or detailing a car is inside that trunk wheel well where the spare tire sits. That is a common place for dirt to actually accumulate more than you would think, so go ahead and remove everything out of there, all the tools, the spare itself, clean that area out, all-purpose clean, wipe it down, everything, just to get all of that clean, so that way the next time if you're ever in there and you need to get to your spare, it's not covered in dirt and really, really nasty stuff. And that spare tire wheel well, like I mentioned, it can get really, really dirty, and this case was no exception. All of the tools and the holder for the tools itself had caked in dirt, so I'm just using the all-purpose cleaner to get that dirt lifted off and setting them off to the side to dry before we put it all back into the car at the end of the detail. Now, using my sprayer, I'm spraying the entire interior carpet and using my drill brush to agitate the carpet, but when it comes to extracting, I'm just using plain old hot water. And the reason why is a lot of you guys mentioned that this is a better way to extract all of the dirt, but also getting that chemical out of the carpet itself that we use to clean it. Now when it comes to the spare tire cover, a lot of these older cars use this fiberboard material and then this thin layer of carpet that's just glued onto it. So you have to be careful with how much liquid you put on when you're agitating the carpet with your drill brush, and also how much you're using when you're doing the extraction process. So first I'm going to go ahead and vacuum up the carpet. Then I'm going to be using a softer drill brush head than I usually use on carpet. This one's actually really, really soft, and I can use it on this particular application, and then also for leather that you don't want to worry about getting scratched up with a harder brush. Now that we've gotten the whole rear trunk taken care of, it is now time to move to the front of the vehicle, get everything out of the car itself, anything out of the door seams, anything out of the front glove box area, and then also getting the floor mats out of the front. I think now you guys get a really good idea of what I meant by the amount of caked on ash from smoking cigarettes. It's literally in every portion of the car, and in every cavity it's just caked in cigarette smoke, and then in these cup holders you can see how much ash is in there. This one is not going to be horrible to clean up. It's definitely going to be a huge transformation by the end of this. Now that I've got everything out of the car and the floor mats, I'm going to go ahead and move to the vacuuming stage. And I've mentioned this before, that vacuuming is probably one of the biggest impactful things that you can do when it comes to detailing. I feel that if you have a dirty car and you at least vacuum it, I think you're 80% of the way there when it comes to a detail. It really makes a huge difference, and you guys can see here that in this car in particular, it looks better by tenfold than what it did when we started. Once I vacuum all that ash that was on the rear part of the vac seats, I'm going to go ahead and use the all-purpose cleaner. I'm going to be using it on the seats themselves, I'm going to be using it on the windows, and I'm going to be using it on the plastic panels. And the reason being is because of all that ash and dirt that's on those surfaces. It really doesn't matter at this point. You're just trying to get everything at least cleaned and get a good baseline before you go to your more specific cleaners. This is also a good time to spray your seat belts with all-purpose cleaner if they're dirty, and just use the microfiber towel to wipe it clean. Now for the center armrest area or any door panel armrest locations, you can tell where people usually rest their arms more because dirt and everything kind of collects on those surfaces. In this case, the center armrest was caked in heavily with dirt because of the textured surface. So it is a perfect opportunity to use the drill brush instead of doing it by hand, which will take a lot longer than instead using the drill brush to make it faster. Now that we've gotten the vacuum done in the front, we're going to take the all-purpose cleaner and start wiping down the door panels using the detailing brush to get into those different seams of the vehicle. This is also a great opportunity to clean the windows as well, to get that done after you've done the all-purpose cleaning, because then when you go back with your top coat, that part is already completed. So I'm just using invisible glass to spray on the inside and the outside to get those clean, and there is some tape residue that actually came off really easily with that product. The next thing I'm going to do is bust out my steam cleaner, which I haven't used a lot in the last several details, but this one with all the grease and grime that was collecting on the door jambs, this is definitely the perfect opportunity to use that tool again. Now moving to the driver's side door panel, you can see here what I was talking about of where the owner was keeping his arm and elbow on the door panel. And then with that textured surface, how much dirt actually can get caked in there. So for this, I would definitely recommend using a drill brush and your all-purpose cleaner to get to those different cracks without you having to do it by hand and spending 3 times the amount of time. I'm interested to know what you guys think is your favorite part. Is it the steam cleaning? Is it the transformation of the different panels being wiped down? Is it the carpet cleaning, the vacuuming? Let me know in the comments below, what is your favorite part of my details that you'd like to see the most?
Sometimes I get so mad, there's no controlling me. My thoughts get so bad, I'm like, I might grab a bat, I don't know. My wrath, my blood boils over like, oh God, here goes. I lost all feeling from my head to my toes. You said some shit that I can't let go, so just stay tuned for the rest of the show. So have you ever felt betrayed? Switches how you see things, realize something needs change. Cause I know you got me fucked up, let me show you what's up. Cause enough is enough. I'll take a face full of pavement just to make a statement. I know there's no turning back. Oh God, adrenaline wasted, so mad I can taste it. I know there's no turning back. I'll do what it takes, I ain't making mistakes like that. I'll play it on your face just to make you go take it back. I'll lose my shit, I go crazy when I'm mad. I'ma poke a hole through you, choking's overdue. Come at me and you won't get any older, dude. Crack your holder too. Heating up inside of me, blood so violently. Thanks for trying me. Now it's finally time to see how this rivalry becomes a dynasty.
Now after I have everything wiped down on the dashboard and the center console, it is time to move to the leather seats. And for the seats, I'm using the all-purpose cleaner again just because of the amount of dust and dirt that's on them. And then I'm using the drill brush with that soft drill brush pad that I was talking about earlier to get into the cracks and then all the different perforations on the seats themselves to get that dirt off so that way it can be wiped off easily. Now for the carpets, I'm doing the same extraction process that I did in the back of the car, and I did this to the front and the rear carpets. And for all you guys that like to see the money shot, here is the money shot of the dirt that was pulled out of just the front and the rear carpets in the main cockpit. The next step will be the floor mats, which the good news is about the floor mats is they actually took up most of the dirt except for that driver's side wheel well. And when it came to the floor mats, the front passenger and the driver's side floor mats, I don't know if they came from different cars or if they were attempted to be dyed at one point, but there was a bit of discoloration on the passenger one that I couldn't get removed that made me think that it was tried to be dyed at one point or had been bleached or something happened to it to the point where I couldn't do much more besides just getting the fibers on there clean. Now the driver's side floor mat was definitely the dirtiest, so I had to do several passes with the extractor. In this case, this floor mat already has a hole in it, and you can see that the fibers are already matted down and worn away. So I would recommend replacing them, or if this owner is going to continue to use this vehicle as much as he is with the amount of dirt, rubber floor mats are definitely a viable option that he should consider. And for anybody else that has a car that they're going to be getting in and out of in the wintertime or in muddy environments from work, rubber floor mats are definitely a much better choice in those situations, and they're a lot easier to keep clean. Now that all the extraction part is done and the car is actually clean, it is now time to use the top coat, which you guys know I love the Chemical Guys Silk Shine. I'm going to be using that to coat all of the interior panels and the leather seats. And as the final step, I always like to do the windows last because you never know if you're going to have any overspray from your top coat, which is just going to make the window look greasy and spotted. And I'm using invisible glass, which I'm actually spraying on the towel directly to do the first wipe down, and then I'm using a second clean towel to do it again to make sure there's no streaking on the inside of the windshield. And once I'm done with all of this, I always try to do one last quick spot vacuuming because getting in and out of the vehicle and wiping everything down, you always end up with a little bit of dusty remnants, and you're always good to just follow up that last time before you give it to the customer. Like I mentioned, I was saving the wheel well in the back for last. This is the time to put all that back in now that the carpet's all dried. Because the owner is going to continue to smoke in the car, I didn't use any odor bombs or go over the top when it came to the odor removal, but I am using the ozone generator to try to remove as much as I possibly can before I give it back to the owner. For this job, I used the ozone generator for 60 minutes and I made sure that the AC was turned on full blast with the recirc on to keep that ozone circulating throughout the vehicle. Once done, I opened up all the doors and let that ozone escape the car itself. Try not to breathe it in if you ever try to do this because it can cause some nasal discomfort. As you guys can tell from the owner's reaction, he was thrilled with the outcome. The car turned out amazing, and actually the panels and the seats and just the actual richness of the black interior was amazing to see the before and after shots of how far this car has come. And if you guys like today's video and you want to see more disaster deep cleans, make sure you guys check out all of my previous videos. I do all these disaster cleans all the time. And if you like the video, make sure you give it a thumbs up and you subscribe if you're new. And I will see you guys in the next detail. Thanks, guys.